Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. It's a little bit after 7. I've been away for a couple of days. In the tradition that I come from, on the 10th anniversary of my mom's passing, I'm supposed to do a set of rituals and take time to retreat, and that's what I did over the last couple of days. So it's been a time for reflection and thinking about a lot of important things. But I'm happy to be back. My mom had this horrible disease called pulmonary fibrosis, which made it hard for her to breathe. And today we're going to be talking about, in the area of lung health, something called lung congestion. And I want to share with you some of the research that our team, as part of the CytoSolve Open Science Project, has been doing to share with you some incredible knowledge of looking at different foods and herbs in nature that can support the lungs, in particular case, lung congestion. Now, in the case of my mom, had I known that one of the most powerful antioxidants at that time was glutathione, I could have helped her, but I unfortunately came to find out about her illness much, much too late. But anyway, my goal is to attempt to do a video a day on different aspects of systems science that can be applied to, obviously, the body, obviously to understand molecular systems, to understand large-scale systems. And our goal over the next few months, we're going to provide people the opportunity to actually not only hear the videos, but some of you may actually want to get certified in some of these courses. We're building a certification program. So those of you who want to understand the molecular system science of lung health, or the molecular system science of cardiovascular health and how foods affect it, or immune health, we're going to put that into a program where you can take these videos, but also answer quizzes and questions, and then get certified in this. So that's one of the things that we want to do. So we hope that helps people educate themselves. As I mentioned, one of our goals is to really help people get educated in applying system science. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's going to be, let me just bring up our share here so I can share the screen. So we're going to be really talking about Schisandra fruit and lung congestion. Again, this is brought to you by you, many of you, through your generous contributions in supporting the movement for truth, freedom, and health. It is those contributions that are allowing us to do this research. And in our view, we do research, the work of major institutions, academic institutions, in a much shorter time and a much faster way. So we have the CytoSolve Open Science Project, which I'll talk to you about. You can go to vashiva.com and you can support that effort. We also have created a way that those of you who are interested can actually be part of research and support the research efforts by taking an area that you're interested in and supporting it. So today we're going to really talk about lung congestion, lung health. This is a first in a series of a couple of different videos we're going to do on different kinds of foods, herbs, which can support or help alleviate lung congestion. All right. So Schisandra fruit is what we're going to be talking about today. And those of you who are interested in knowing all the different things that our team does, you can go to vashiva.com, victoryalphashiva.com, and to learn more about the different activities we're involved in. So I encourage you to go there. All right. So this is as you can see in the title slide, these are what these berries look like. They're deep, these dark red berries, and we'll come back to them. And it's Schisandra fruit and lung congestion is what we're going to talk about. Schisandra fruit is also known as Schisandra chinensis. It's a vine plant that's native to the forests of northern and northeastern China, and it belongs to the Schisandra family. And its medicinal use actually dates back to ancient China. And there's two important aspects that are used where the medicinal properties get derived from. One is the fruit, and the other is the root. Okay, so the fruit and the root. And one of the things to understand in traditional systems of medicine, these different parts of a plant had different effects. So, for example, the fruit, the stems, right, the root, the leaves, Everything had a very, very different properties, but the medicinal part here is the fruit and the root that we're going to look at today, okay? And what you're going to learn today is, first of all, what is Schisandra fruit? If you didn't know about it, you're going to learn that. I'm also going to cover lung congestion, like what is a lung system? How does it work, right? How does congestion develop? So you're going to really understand that when you get lung congestion, what actually goes on. And then we're going to look at the molecular pathways, the systems that are involved in the systems of lung congestion. And then we're going to look at how Schisandra fruit actually can help alleviate lung congestion. So again, we're taking a systems approach today. So you're going to learn about the fruit. You're going to learn about what is a system of how the lungs work, how congestion develops, what are the molecular pathways involved in that, and how we can shunt them through the use of a food like Schisandra fruit, okay? So when we go through this, you're going to learn, the lungs, what the normal airways look like. We see they're nice and clean here. The muscle that supports the lungs there and the airway walls. Then we're going to understand what happens when congestion develops and mucus develops. So you're going to get a good understanding of what actually goes on in the normal case and the abnormal case. And as many of you know, that I always like to take a systems approach. And if you're joining this video today, my view is that you're also interested in taking a systems approach to everything you do. And so I'm going to play a little video for you about my journey to systems, and then we'll come right back to Schisandra fruit and lung congestion. Welcome to VA Shiva. VA Shiva is a product of my journey across East and West, science and tradition, ancient and modern, that brings you the science of systems so you can become a force for truth, freedom, health. VA Shiva is a platform of revolutionary education, community building, and weaponry for unleashing local activism. My journey to VA Shiva begins in the chaos of Bombay, where I experienced diverse religions, languages, castes, and in a small village that had no running water, no electricity, where my grandmother, a poor village farmer, practiced Siddha, an ancient system of Indian medicine over 10,000 years old. She observed one's face, the art of Samudrika Lakshanam, to understand a body's unique constitution, allowing her to deliver the right medicine for the right person at the right time. Watching my grandmother heal others, I was inspired to study medicine, but I was also aware of the corrupt caste system of India, which denigrated a human being, where my family were considered low caste untouchables, where one's birth determined one's destiny. The grit and determination of my mother and father led them to get educated and to come to America, a 1 in a trillion event. Their actions inspired me to work hard and excel. While in 9th grade, I attended New York University in a computer science program, and subsequently, at the age of 14, was given a full-time job as a research fellow at what is now known as Rutgers Medical School in the heart, Newark, New Jersey. There I investigated the system of sleep using mathematics, computer science, and biology for sudden infant death syndrome. It was there in Newark where I invented email, when I was the first to convert every feature of the physical, paper-based inter-office mail system, including inbox, outbox, memo, carbon copy, blind carbon copy, attachments, into its electronic equivalent, a system which I named email, a term that I was the first to coin. On August 30th, 1982, I was awarded the first U.S. copyright for the invention of this system, recognizing me as the inventor of email. At that time, copyright was the only way to protect software inventions. I went on to MIT, where I earned 4 degrees across multiple systems of engineering: electrical, mechanical, design, biological. That training led me to invent many other systems for advancing humankind. EchoMail, the world's first intelligent email management system. CytoSolve, a computational biology system for eliminating animal testing to discover new medicines faster, cheaper, and safer. And to the creation of a whole systems methodology for certifying clean food. These innovations led me back on a Fulbright to India, where I discovered the missing link between Eastern medicine and Western systems theory, honoring my grandmother, to develop Your Body, Your System, a powerful tool that will help you understand how your body is a system and how the inputs of food, supplements, and exercise bring your body back to its natural system state. And systems health, an integrative educational discipline that is now integrated into the VA Shiva platform that will enable you to learn the science of systems, the science of everything, be it your body as a system or our society and politics as a system, to reveal the foundational interrelationships between truth, freedom, health. Now is the time for you to be the light, learn the science of systems, build community, and weaponize yourself to unleash the activism necessary to deliver truth, freedom, health in your local community. Welcome to VA Shiva. All right, everyone. So that's a video that I like to play to give all of you perhaps the inspiration to want to become a system scientist. So go to truthfreedomhealth.com, sign up as a warrior scholar, and you'll get access to all these amazing educational tools. But it'll give you a very, very unique perspective, a scientific perspective, which is much needed today when we live in the world of complex systems. So let's go back to Schisandra Fruit. So those of you joining new, we're talking about Schisandra Fruit. It's a vine plant that's native to forests of northern and northeast China. It belongs to the Chisandraceae family, and it's medicinal. That use dates back to China, ancient China, and it's really the fruit and the root that we're going to look at, okay? You're going to learn 4 major things today. What is the fruit? What is lung congestion? What are the molecular pathway systems of lung congestion? And how does Schisandra fruit affect those lung pathways? Now, just to give you an idea, there are over 1,322 research articles and about 21 clinical trials that have been written about Schisandra fruit over 77 years of scientific research. So, we've looked at various herbs in our series here on various things that I look at, but what we like to do in the effort here is we want to go and look at the individual pieces of work that have been done and bring them together. That's what a systems approach is. You don't just look at one paper, you look at a body of work. And what emerges when you look at a body of work is truth emerges, or something closer to truth than just looking at one thing. So that's why I want to bring the slide up here so you understand we're not doing like individual test tube research. What we're saying is there's already research that's been done over the last 77 years, 21 clinical trials. 21 clinical trials is where they actually tested this food, Schisandra fruit, or this herb, on humans. And they have data from that. And there's over 1,322 research articles. So we're going to really mine all those articles, organize them, and figure out what's really going on, rather than just looking at one paper. So first of all, what is Schisandra? Okay, what is this fruit? What is a composition? What is it composed of, etc.? And what you'll see is, food is medicine. The difference between a pharmaceutical drug and food is a pharmaceutical drug is typically one single compound, and it's typically a synthetic compound, something that doesn't occur in nature. Now, what you see here is Schisandra fruit has close to 306 compounds. That's only the ones that have been identified so far. That could be there could be more. And when you look at this, there's close to how many are there? We got 6 different types of compounds. Okay, we have lignans, triterpenoids, right? Essential oils, phenolic acids, flavonoids, and phytosterols, okay? These are different classes of compounds, but you have 306 compounds spread across all of these. Now, the research to date shows there's really a set of them that are known as the active components, okay? So these, if you're into organic chemistry, or you just like pretty diagrams, or these are what are called chemical diagrams. And you see on the far left, there's something called SCHA, Schisandrin A. So that's one of the molecular components. You see Schisandrin B, which is SCHB. And if you look at the difference between these two, you notice the chemical ring structures. This area here is pretty common. This area is common. This area is common. But it's in this area versus this area, you have some different chemical structures, and this gives it different activity. Okay, Schisandrin C, as you can see, again, it's similar, but you can see that the stereochemistry is a little bit different here, And over here, it's similar to this, et cetera. So these little minor changes in the structure give it different types of activity. And then you have Schisandrol, which is Schisandrol A and Schisandrol B. Again, different types of chemical structures. So it is these 5 chemical structures based on the research today. Remember, research keeps changing. That these are the 5 that are the active components in Schisandra. Okay. So let's continue. All right. And now we want to talk about what are the biological effects of Schisandra fruit. So when I say biological effects, we're talking about at the biomolecular level, what does Schisandra do based on, again, the known research versus when you talk about sort of global health benefits. And we're going to cover both here. All right. So what are the biological effects? Well, first of all, Schisandra is anti-tussive. Okay. What does that mean? Like if you ever heard Robitussin, okay, the TUSS means relieves coughs. So anti-tussive means a cough reliever. You may want to write that down and share that with your friends. Anti-tussive means a cough reliever. The other thing is it's cardioprotective, protects your heart. Hepatoprotective, protects your liver. Neuroprotective, protects your brain. It's an antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory, and it's hypoglycemic, okay? So you can see it has a lot of different effects, but we're going to focus on the anti-tussive, cough-relieving effects of Schisandra, okay? What are the health benefits? Well, one of the areas is, we're talking about today's lung congestion, but it also has other areas. Cancer, okay? Anti-cancer, anti-diabetes, and it also modulates and supports heart palpitations, all right? Now, when we want to talk about lung congestion, let's look at it. Remember, lung congestion is a system. So let's look at the lungs here. So so here's your lungs, and you have, we're looking at the lungs here in cross section, and we're looking at 2 cases here. Here in the upper right, you have the normal airway. Notice you have the airway wall. These are the walls. So if you looked at, here's the lungs, which separates out into many, many different branches. And we're looking at one of the branches here. So here's a normal airway. Okay, it's nice and clean. That's the wall of the airway. And you can see over here, there are muscles which control the airway flow. Okay, and we'll talk more about this. Now, what happens when you have lung congestion is that the airway gets, first of all, it gets widened. Okay, it's not this size. It literally gets widened. It's filled with mucus. And it also, and this is where you have to be careful, it can become scarred and thickened, okay? It's not this nice structure. It literally becomes thickened. So you see the airway here becomes thickened. You have mucus and it's wide, okay? So you've put tremendous amounts of, when congestion occurs, you're putting tremendous amounts of stress and you're distending the airway walls filled with mucus. And unfortunately, what can occur is you can also start scarring the airways, all right? So that's what that looks like. Just to give you, again, you may want to look at that, the normal condition and the abnormal condition, okay? Now, how does all this happen? So it's a result of an excess of blood in specific parts of the lungs, okay? And this is a common symptom of respiratory tract infection. So when you get a respiratory tract infection, what ends up happening is an excess amount of blood goes to specific parts of the lungs, right? The body is trying to rid itself of that infection. And when that happens, the mucous membranes become inflamed, and there's excessive mucus production blocks different airways. And this is what causes the difficulty in breathing. And it's an ideal breeding ground for bacteria, leading to secondary infection. So let's just sort of just step back and understand this, right? You get an infection, the body, as a part of protecting itself, right, from that infection, blood moves into those areas, obviously attempting to handle the inflammation that's taking place from that infection. The mucous membranes then get inflamed. And then what ends up happening is you have excessive mucus production that blocks those airways. This causes difficulty in breathing, and that this entire situation becomes an ideal breeding ground for bacteria that leads to secondary infections. You see sort of a unfortunate positive feedback model that you get more inflammation, secondary infections. But you can see the infection when you have a weakened immune system, and this is what's important to understand, a weakened immune system, the body doesn't react in a normal way, it overreacts. And that's one of the things we want to share with everyone. When you have an infection, it's not like the bacteria, the virus is starting to eat at you. Your body reacts to that infection, and if it reacts in a normal way through a strong immune system, you get a little bit of effect and the body knows how to modulate it. But if you don't have like shock absorbers in your car, and I've used this analogy, you hit a bump and you hit your head and your whole car can break. That's the equivalent of having a weakened immune system. The body overreacts, and that overreaction is what causes this that you're seeing here, okay? All right. Now, when we look at the mechanisms of lung congestion, there are many different mechanisms. So what is a mechanism, okay? So think about a mechanism as a bunch of gears, in a car, or gears in a machinery. These mechanisms are all intertwined and they're involved in some functional aspects. So when we're talking about the function of lung congestion, these are the 4 mechanisms involved: Arachidonic acid metabolism, cytokine production via MAPK, cytokine production via NF-kappa beta, mucin production, and smooth muscle, the relaxation, okay? Let me just, this is really smooth muscle relaxation. And you want smooth, and we'll come back to this, but there are 5 different mechanisms involved in supporting more lung congestion, increasing lung congestion or taking it away, okay? But these are the 5 major molecular pathways. Again, think of these molecular pathways as molecular machines. So what we do at CytoSolve is for different types of phenomenon like cancer, lung congestion, right? Alzheimer's, we attempt to find all those molecular machinery components, which is called these pathways. And this is why we take the systems approach, because it's not any one thing. When you look at this diagram, someone can go create a medicine just for stopping mucin production or just for stopping cytokine production, but it's not really going to holistically or from a systems perspective affect all the things that are involved. So from our analysis, there's at least 5 things that are involved in lung congestion. Before I go into this, I want to share with you, all of you, what is CytoSolve? CytoSolve is a technology that I created that is a revolutionary technology that allows, without killing animals, to look at the body of work, the literature that's out there, extract out the molecular pathways, figure out the molecular machinery for different things, and use that to understand what's really going on. And as a part of that, this is what I mentioned, we took all the papers involved in lung congestion, looked at all the things that are involved in Schisandra, and out of that, we distilled down to a set of molecular mechanisms, and that's what we're able to do. So we're not cherry picking, we're looking across the board of many, many different things. So what I wanted to do was also emphasize to you, pharmaceutical companies, they don't look for many, many compounds to affect a particular function. They try to synthesize one compound, then they do test tube testing, then they kill a bunch of animals. This takes 6 years, and they spend another about 7 years testing on humans. The problem is what they're creating is a single molecule compound, and it's not designed to really, first of all, it takes a long time, 13 years, a lot of money. And this is why a lot of the pharma companies have to move into vaccines, because with pharmaceutical drugs, they're spending more and more money. They're finding less and less discoveries, and it's highly regulated. Vaccines are not, okay? So there you go. So let's go. I want to play a little video here. It's the best way, so I don't have to repeat myself, to understand what is CytoSolve, and we'll come back right to this. Who would have ever thought someone like me would invent email and create CytoSolve to revolutionize health for personalized and precision medicine, a system for delivering the right medicine for the right person at the right time? I was born a low-caste untouchable in India's caste system, a system of aristocracy, oppression, and racism. As a child, I observed my grandmother, a poor village farmer, practice Siddha, India's oldest system of medicine, to heal local villagers by observing their face, to know their unique constitution, to deliver a unique combination of foods, healing herbs and massage. The caste system and her abilities to heal inspired me to understand the interconnectedness of all life. My name is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. I'm an MIT PhD, a Fulbright scholar, a scientist, technologist, and inventor. My family and I left India to come to America on my 7th birthday. As a 14-year-old, I began working as a full-time research fellow at Rutgers Medical School to unravel the mysteries of sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, and created the world's first email system long before I ever heard of MIT. As I traversed academia over the next 3 decades, I observed self-serving academics, never solving real problems, writing grant after grant, competing for tenure, while diminishing real science and real scientists, pushing a reductionist science to destroy the scientific method. Like the blind men who never saw the whole elephant, but the parts, they delivered a dismembered view of reality. I observed Big Pharma use such reductionism, wasting billions year after year to fund research in test tubes, killing animals, and using the poor as guinea pigs for clinical testing to create products that even the FDA no longer allowed. Not only Big Pharma practiced this reductionism, but also the elites of Big Vitamin, Big Green, and Big New Age, with gurus and yogis, empowered by Hollywood celebrities, selling one supplement after another based on a cherry-picked science. All that changed in 2003 when the Human Genome Project ended, revealing that humans have the same number of genes, about 20,000, as that of a worm, giving rise to a systems biology. We realized that one-size-fits-all medicine was a failure. We realized their medicines were killing us, making today's generation's lifespan shorter than any previous generation. Obesity, heart disease, deaths from adverse reaction to drugs, confusion on what diet, what supplements, and who to believe is what they have delivered you. They push natural and organic products for your beauty and wellness, while their real solution is their plastic surgeons and Botox. We've been sold out. It's time for real science, a system science that interconnects the parts to discover truth, to know what really works, to get the health we need and deserve. This is why I created CytoSolve. CytoSolve is about truth, freedom, and health versus power, profit, and control. CytoSolve is a revolutionary technology integrating bioinformatics, computational biology, mathematical modeling, decentralization to reveal the truth. CytoSolve computes trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions to discover what actually works based on the actual science. No reductionism, no cherry picking. CytoSolve's predictive modeling has been proven accurate time and time again, matching laboratory results. CytoSolve discovers synergistic combinations of compounds to maximize health and reduce toxicity. For example, we know curcumin from turmeric and resveratrol from red grapes alleviate inflammation, but how much should we combine? Current methods are hand-waving at best. Here, with CytoSolve, we first modeled the control condition with no curcumin and no resveratrol to simulate high inflammation with the cytokine level at 0.15 micromolar. Next, we add just 5 micromolars of curcumin. The inflammation drops to 0.05. Next, we use 5 micromolars of resveratrol, and the inflammation drops from 0.15 to 0.06. But when we combine curcumin and resveratrol of 3 micromolars of curcumin and 2 micromolars of resveratrol, inflammation drops from 0.15 to 0.03, far lower, nearly 200% less than just one compound alone. That's the synergy principle of system science. We've all had enough of their fake and reductionist science. They think we'll simply keep buying their marketing, their celebrities, and their products that can never truly heal us. We don't need them. Great things come when we integrate the best of things. It's our time. It's time we delivered solutions for ourselves. It's time for truth, freedom, and health. It's time for CytoSolve. Welcome. All right, so let's continue here. So what we see here is, by the way, CytoSolve is a very powerful technology, the only one of its kind in the world that lets us really organize these pathways, understand them, and test things. So we're going to now share with you the results of that. And all of you out there who want to support research that we do, you can literally go to vashiva.com. There's a link there, which is the CytoSolve Open Science Institute. You can actually email me at vashiva@vashiva.com if you want to work together on some research, help go raise funds, support it, map it out. We do that. Or you can just go contribute whatever you want. And those of you who contribute actually get access to all of our coursework, etc. But you don't have to contribute anything also. I just want to let you know that you can be a collaborator in what we're doing. But what we're sharing with you today is directly coming from your efforts in funding our research. And you really can't get this out of major institutions, nor will those researchers come here and educate you. And that's what our goal is here. So you're getting research and education. Okay, so these are the pathways. Okay, so now we're going to walk through each one. These are the many, many different pathways that are involved here, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pathways, okay? So let's begin with arachidonic acid metabolism, okay? Someone just said, so love MV25. Great, we'll talk about MV25. Thanks, Bonnie. MV25 is a product that we actually created out of CytoSolve, and we'll talk more about it, and we'll come back to it. Thank you. So Arachidonic acid, so you see this diagram. This diagram is what, if you took a class in biochemistry, you learned the arachidonic acid metabolism pathway. It involves different molecules, different processes, but arachidonic acid metabolism is one of the key things involved in lung congestion. The next one is cytokine production via MAPK. So what happens is these are a series of pathways. Here's the cytoplasm, here's a membrane, and through a series of mechanisms, you have cytokine production. So here is MAPK, you see right here, right here, and COX-2, TNF-alpha, and IL-6. These things are called cytokines. And obviously cytokines are valuable for you to fight infection, but when you have an overreaction, this can cause problems, okay? Again, a non-healthy immune system overreacts, okay? So then we have cytokine production via NF-kappa beta. So here is NF-kappa beta right here, and here is another set of mechanisms where your body will produce other kinds of cytokines. In this case, IL-6 is a cytokine right here, and it's produced via NF-kappa beta, okay? Mucin production, okay? This is really what you call, how does mucus get produced, okay? So you see a series of molecular pathways going through here, but ultimately MUSSAC, this is really, when you talk about mucus, this is where mucus is getting produced, but it's through a series of molecular interactions, okay? What I'm trying to really open your eyes to is that you start recognizing that at the fundamental level, the body is a bunch of molecular machines. When you get exogenous inputs taking place, infection, your body turns on all these machines, okay? And that's what we're looking at here. You're getting some level of detail. It's not everything, but you're getting some level of detail what happens. So for example, cigarette smoke here will make your body produce mucus, okay? All right. Now, what is smooth muscle relaxation, okay? You want that, okay? So there are a set of pathways involved here from the sympathetic side and the parasympathetic side that lead to either relaxation right here, MLC, or MLC, where it's phosphorylated, where you get contraction, okay? One of these occurs, okay? But these are the pathways involved in smooth muscle reaction. Now I want you to watch this very carefully. I've done this in other areas. So you have these molecular machinery that get turned on when your body is infected and it's going into this lung congestion mode. So how do you know what you need to do to alleviate that lung congestion? Well, this is the best way to think about it. So a variable, if you were to measure it in your body, is called PGE2. PGE2 gets raised when you get arachidonic acid metabolism. Well, guess what? You want to bring that down, okay? IL-1 and IL-8 are these cytokines that get produced. Well, you want to bring those down if you want to bring down lung congestion. IL-6 and 8 are produced via NF-kappa beta. You want to bring both of these molecules down. That's what the red means. You want to bring these down. Mucin 5 is produced during mucin production. Guess what? You want to bring that down. But MLCP is what you want to increase. That lets your smooth muscles in the lungs react, because when they're contracted and you're stiff, all that tension is when your body can't get rid of that congestion, okay? So just look at these wonderful way you can think about this. There are 4 variables you want to bring, 4 systems you want to downregulate, and they're done using 6 different molecules, okay? And there's 1 molecule you want to increase, okay? All right, so that's what we want to do, all right? So when you want to think about it broadly, if you start now, you have a systems approach to understanding how to alleviate yourself of lung congestion. So if you start looking at the literature, you can say, wow, what brings this down and this down and this down? So this is where combinations are important, because you'll find out shortly in this series that some things increase certain things, other things will lower certain things. And this is the CytoSolve open science approach, is that we take a systems approach and we try to figure out what's going on, all right? So let's look at this even closer. So now let's look at Schisandra, okay? So now that you understand the molecular systems, what are the variables you want to bring down and what are the ones you want to bring up, how does taking Schisandra affect this, lung congestion process, okay? That's what we want to look at. So now, before I go into that, okay, let me go. Yeah, so what we're going to look at is we're going to find out that there are different chemicals that, so for example, if you look at, if I map out all the molecular pathways along here, and again, these are all the molecules along here, okay? We're going to find out, what does Schisandra fruit do? You notice it really helps smooth muscle relaxation. It definitely helps with mucin 5 and reducing IL-1 and 8. Not that much for PG2, but this heat map that we have developed helps you understand how Schisandra fruit affects these pathways. And before I go into that, I've given you sort of the big story here that I want to also share with you, that the technology that we use, CytoSolve, in our open science project, it was about 2 years ago. We've been helping many, many companies, many, many partners use our technology. We decided, now that we have, over the last 16 years, many, many different molecular machinery that we figured out, what about we looked at everything out there that had to do with pain and inflammation? And we were fortunate to be able to discover a combination of compounds that could have profound effect on pain and inflammation and discomfort. And that product is MV25. And I want to just take a quick break because a lot of you have been putting it up there. But MV25 is a product that I'll come. But the best way to share with you what this product is, because some of you may be interested in it, but this comes out of using the CytoSolve technology. So let me just share this video.
Millions of people suffer every day from painful discomfort and swelling, but most pain medications come with harsh side effects, and many alternative supplements have little scientific backing. That's why we at CytoSolve created MV25. MV25 was formulated using the CytoSolve Computational Systems Biology Platform, a technology for precision and personalized health invented by Dr. Shiva during his doctoral research at MIT. This formulation is the result of computing trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions derived from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers published across 4 decades by 68 research institutions to discover an optimal synergy of compounds that downregulate biomarkers of discomfort and normal swelling.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet, and they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids. And I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand. Very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days, the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
MV25 is certified clean, 100% non-GMO, made in America, and GMP certified for good manufacturing practices. MV25 is CytoSolve optimized, which means that this formula has been engineered to maximize benefits while minimizing toxicity based on current research curated by CytoSolve. As the science advances, so will this formulation. This is our promise. Order online at mv25.life. Consult your doctor before taking any supplement or medication and use as directed. MV25.
So those of you who are interested in MV25, you can literally go to vashiva.com, and right up here is a shop link. And if you click on that, you'll find MV25 and you can order it. And there you go. So anyway, let's go back to lung congestion. So the same approach that we look at when we developed MV25 and the same approach we're doing to research, we look at a set of pathways, not just one. So when we built MV25, the goal was to find out there are many, many pathways involved in pain and inflammation, not just one. There's about 5 of them. And the idea was, what was the optimal combination of ingredients from nature we could find, which would hit all those pathways? Essentially, think about these as gears. And what you're trying to do is poke a stick in there to stop those gears so you reduce pain and inflammation. Similarly here, we have identified, if you look here, 5 different mechanisms: Arachidonic acid metabolism, cytokine production via MAPK, cytokine production via NF-kappa beta, mucin production, and smooth muscle relaxation. And we know these are called biomarkers. So PGE2, IL-1, IL-8, PGE2 is involved in arachidonic, IL-1 and IL-8, cytokine production, MAPK, IL-6 and IL-8, cytokine production via NF-kappa beta, mucin-5, mucin production, MLCP for smooth muscle. And what we're looking in the next row here is, so you have the Schisandra fruit, the chemicals within it, how are they, which of the aspects of lung congestion are they working on? And see, this is getting at a different level of detail. Instead of saying, oh yeah, take this, it's going to alleviate lung congestion. That's sort of the snake oil way that a lot of these supplement companies work. And that's why we want to emphasize that we don't want to take the snake oil way of, the big vitamin nor big pharma. We want to take a systems approach. So a systems approach is now giving you, hey, there's 5 different things you need to affect if you really want to bring down lung congestion. Okay, it's not just one thing. So some people say, oh yeah, I took this herb and it did. Well, that one herb may only affect one aspect. And we're finding out with Schisandra here is, Schisandra is really good because you see the hot, the bright green. It's really good for relaxing muscle. It's reasonably good for cytokine production reduction, IL-1 and IL-8, as well as mucin-5. And it's pretty good for IL-6 and IL-8 for cytokine production here. So it's really good for modulating cytokine production and mucin-5. It's killer for MLCP upregulation, but it doesn't really do that well for what we call the inflammation or arachidonic process, okay? There may be some other ingredient you could combine it with, and we'll talk more about that, okay? So when we did our research, what we did was we literally so let's look at IL-1. We mathematically modeled all the molecular pathways of cytokine production. And then again, we're doing this, by the way, just want to inform everyone, without killing animals. We modeled all those pathways. Then we dropped in the particular molecular component of Schisandra fruit. And what do we find here? Okay. We find, first of all, let's look at IL-1. And we see here is that if you take the control case and you say IL-1, which means the case without taking Schisandra, it's at around 0.02, let's say that's 0.024, 0.0245, 0.02475, okay? And when you take Schisandra fruit, it brings it down. It's not bringing it down tremendously. That's why it has some effect on IL-1. It's not bright green, but it doesn't have no effect. It definitely has some effect, okay? So it does have an effect on bringing down IL-1 production. Next is we looked at IL-8. And same here, you see IL-8, it goes from 0.012 down to around 0.01, somewhere in that range, okay? But again, it has some minimal effect, okay? But it does have an effect for IL-8. Then we look at IL-6, which is another cytokine. And you notice here, it actually has, again, a minor effect from control with Schisandra. So IL-6, it definitely brings down. And same here, when you look at IL-8, same, okay? So the point is that Schisandra fruit does have an effect of down-regulating those 4 cytokines that I just went through, okay? So that's what we just took over here. Then we looked at mucin. Mucin 5 is a thing that really results in mucus production. And you can see it has a pretty good effect on reducing mucus production, okay? Which is what helps alleviate the congestion right there, all right? Now, what I want to really, the most profound effect our research showed was that Schisandra fruit relaxes. It relaxes the smooth muscles, around the airways. So when they're contracted, right, you're becoming stiff. And that's not a good thing because you're literally holding on to that mucus. You want to loosen it, right? You want to get the mucus out. So you want the muscles to relax. And that's what the big discovery that came out of this research from CytoSolve is that look at what it does. So when you have MLCP, which is an important variable that it's at a low level, you want to increase it. That's a good thing. So you want to increase MLCP, and look what it does. It goes from 600 to 900. That's nearly a 50% increase, okay? So relative to all of these other aspects that Schisandra fruit affects, yes, it definitely has an effect on cytokine, but it has a massive, profound effect on smooth muscle relaxation, okay? That's what we see there. So I wanted to help you understand, and we're going to do it. We have other herbs we're going to look at over the next few days. Schisandra is only one of them. And you notice it really affects the smooth muscle relaxation, the MLCP production, which relaxes your muscles, okay? So we have taken a systems approach here. We're going to look at several other herbs over the next few days. And the key approach here is we're taking a systems approach. And this systems approach that we've developed comes from integrating Eastern and Western medicine, from bringing in engineering systems theory, but you can apply the systems approach to anything you want. You can apply it to your body, and we've created tools for that. You can apply it to understanding herbs. You can apply it to understanding political systems. So I wanted, before I wrapped up, and I just want to do, and I'll come right back, I want to encourage all of you to become Truth, Freedom, and Health warriors. We've created a course program. We've made it accessible to anyone. If people want a scholarship, write to me. But I want to play that video for you so all of you understand what is it we've created as a part of our movement. I'll be right back to summarize. Hello, this is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Welcome to VA Shiva, the platform of education, technology, and activism, so you may raise your consciousness to win the truth, freedom, and health you need to create the future you deserve. The VA Shiva platform provides its Truth, Freedom, Health warrior scholars the following 3 capabilities. Number 1, an ultimate education that is based on the science of systems. Number 2, technologies to empower you to take charge of your health, as well as social media tools, independent of big tech, so you can connect with other incredible Truth, Freedom, Health warrior scholars equally dedicated like you to winning truth, freedom, and health. 3, instruments for activism, so you become a beacon of light in your online and offline community to educate others, growth, and advancement. VA Shiva provides you the foundations of the science of systems, the ultimate education. The science of systems provides you the missing fundamental scientific knowledge to understand every system in and around you. The science of systems will enable you to uncover the real problem and real solution in any situation and on any issue. Concerning the educational component, first you will receive direct access to me to learn the science of systems in my 3-hour live private online group class that I run every week. Second, you will have access to archived lectures so you can continue your education independent of me. Third, you can test your proficiency in learning the fundamental principles and get a formal certification for the foundations of systems. Independent of this classroom education, you will receive also 4 important books. The first book is the best-selling classic Systems and Revolution, from which you can learn all of these concepts and more. The second book is The Science of Everything, that will educate you on how the science of systems is the foundational knowledge of every system in the universe. The third book, Your Body, Your System, focuses on how to understand the interplay of these systems within your own body. And then the fourth book, Your System, Your Life, will help you apply these principles to other aspects of your life, such as running a business, understanding relationships, and more. Beyond the curriculum and books, the second capability is the technologies that you will be afforded. One of them is a powerful Your Body, Your System software, which is an online laboratory where you can use your body as a system to further deepen your understanding of the science of systems. systems. The tool allows you to understand what kind of system you are. Is your system on course or is it off course? And how the inputs of food, supplements, herbs, activities such as sleep, yoga, meditation, exercise can affect your body to bring it back on course. Finally, to support your education, I've also included a seminal scientific paper that I wrote, which will help you understand that the knowledge of systems, it does not only originate in the modern world starting in the 1920s and 30s, but it actually dates back 10 to 20,000 years and intersects directly with the foundations of Eastern systems of medicine. In addition to this, you will also get 2 scientific papers sharing how the science of systems can also be used to apply to understanding how food is medicine. One paper exposes turmeric from the molecular systems level and how it affects your body. The other paper explores ginger and how that affects your body. That's just the educational piece. As you raise your consciousness through this education, you will likely want to connect with other Truth Freedom Health warrior scholars in an environment where you can connect and build community. To support that, I've also created 2 powerful social media tools. One of them is a VA Shiva forum. Here you can start discussions, you can pose questions and meet others and have healthy debates. The other is VA Shiva Social, where you can create your own profile, your own presence, like other major social media tools. However, it is independent of big tech. You can use VA Shiva Social to interconnect with your fellow Truth Freedom Health warrior scholars and build community. Beyond the education capability and the social media capability, the platform also enables you to take action by disseminating your knowledge on the ground and into your local online and offline communities. Powerful educational cards and research are included so you can pass these cards to your friends and neighbors that provide them summarized content which further directs them to online research and education. In addition to this, the activism component also provides you many short 1-minute educational video content, memes, and text, allowing you to quickly craft messages for your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and other pages so you can deliver content to educate others and drive them to longer educational posts on VA Shiva. VA Shiva is fundamentally an enabling platform for you to get the truth, freedom, and health you deserve through education, technology, and activism. I hope you become a Truth, Freedom, and Health warrior scholar today. Thank you. All right, let's summarize. So when it comes to Schisandra fruit, Schisandra fruit has several health benefits for lung health. It downregulates production of inflammatory cytokines, thereby controlling inflammation in lung airways. This is a very important part to understand. If you have a strong immune system, your body doesn't overreact. So what Schisandra fruit does is it downregulates those inflammatory cytokines so you don't go overboard and, overreact, okay? The next thing Schisandra does, it downregulates mucin 5 production. And we know this does it really well and thereby controls excessive mucus production, okay? And then finally, most profoundly, Schisandra upregulates the production of MLCP. And that leads to relaxation of the airway smooth muscle cells and the opening up of the airways, all right? So there you go. We just went through Schisandra fruit and lung congestion. I hope this was valuable. Let me look at any comments we have here. Someone says, let's say Dr. Shiva has his own herbs you can buy on his website. No, I don't have any herbs. I think I could put some up, but I don't. And maybe we could do that, Someone says, oh, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Very, very sweet of you. Let's say someone says, thank you for sharing your work. Show the, yep. Someone says, thank you for taking time for another great CytoSolve report. You're welcome. So anyway, keep an eye out because we're going to be doing another herb we're going to look at, a surprise herb that will affect a different set of those pathways, right? So if Schisandra fruit affects this set of pathways for smooth muscle relaxing, imagine having another weapon in your arsenal that you could use. And this is what's called combination therapy. And this is what the power of CytoSolve is. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Go to truthfreedomhealth.com to support yourself and support the movement so you can get educated. Thank you. Be well. Good night. Let me just play our final little closing clip and we're done. Thank you.